All right, you guys ready to go? Hey, my name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws, and this is our Wednesday edition, Wednesday afternoon live. I always go live on Monday afternoons and Wednesday afternoons. Wednesdays we draw portraits. Mondays we usually do landscapes. And hello, everyone. Hello, Andrea. How are you doing? I'm so glad that you chimed in there. I do appreciate it. It's always fun to see who's out there listening. So, listen, we have before we get started, we have an excellent Facebook group. If you are not part of it, you are missing out on a great community of people. And I would just recommend that you grab the link down in the description and join our crew of people. It continuously grows, and it's a great community. You could post your work, and we can help you out. Okay, so what else can I say? Like all the other YouTube videos, hey, listen, take a second. Do please subscribe to the channel and say something in the comments. I always appreciate that. But let's go ahead and get started today, okay? So what I want to do, let me remove this picture here. And what I want to do is before we get started, I want to review or go over what I call my 4 tools of measurement, okay? Because I use these every time I draw, and it's important for you to have them in your back pocket. So the 4 tools of measurement. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a photo here. This was a photo that we used just the other day in the daily draw, but this will serve me well to explain to you the 4 tools of measurement. So we have 4 tools, and I break the process of drawing down into 3 phases. I have my gesture, my construction, and then my detail. And in each one of those phases, I'm using one of these 4 tools of measurement. So here they are for you to write down. So the first thing you use is horizontal lines. Okay? And I'll explain these in just a second. Then you have vertical lines. We use negative space. And number 4, you use cartoon check. Cartoon check. It's a little check mark right there, okay? If you are able to use these 4 tools, you will never need to use the grid system ever again, all right? These will cover you no matter what you're doing, trying to nail down your proportion, these 4 tools. So how does it work? All right, so let me put a little line here. And then the other thing I want to say before I show you is our 3 phases of drawing. We have gesture, construction, and then that goes into detail. Okay? So let's describe this. So what I'm going to do is, oh, look at that. It's okay. We'll just go down like this. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to yes, and by the way, if you're coming in late, this is a portrait. I'm just using this as an example. You would do a gesture. So a quick gesture is just a quick overview of your drawing. All right, you're just kind of trying to get a little bit of placement. Don't try and draw this. Just really what I want you to do is watch right now, okay? So I'm just going to do a quick gesture of this. And then once I have my gesture, I move into my construction phase. And this is where I'm really going to start using these tools of measurement. So first thing, horizontal lines. Let me change this to be this color here. So I might look at this drawing And I might ask myself, okay, where does, let's say horizontally, what should I measure here? Okay, this is good. Horizontally, that is where the spigot begins per se. And if I create a, oops, sorry, my bad. I'm going to change that. Oh, you guys must hate me. Let's try that again. Horizontal. Okay, let's just say I'm at the top. I'm at the top of this, of the little part that the water comes out. Well, if I visually think of a horizontal line going across, I can look for things that line up with that. For example, the edge of these flowers or the top of that handle. Okay, that's a great measurement of a tool. So let's just say I'm going to be over here. All right, so that's kind of roughly where the spigot is, the top part of that. And if I visually just kind of like imagine a straight line going across here, I can think, okay, so right about there is the top of my handle, plus I can see these flowers are lining up. You see that? That's using a horizontal line to try and determine that. Okay, let's move over to a vertical line. I started to do that first. A vertical line. Look at the end of that spout. If we draw a vertical line, where does that line up? Well, that almost lines up with the inside of that handle. You see that? So let's see here. So if I'm going to draw that vertical, something like that, where that comes into the pot there, you see? And I got a vertical coming up. Okay, so that inside of that handle is going to be right about there, you see? That's the vertical line. Okay, next, let's take a look at negative space. Well, look at, this is interesting. Look at, I'm going to change the color for this one here. Look at this negative space or negative shape. Look at that negative shape right there. You see that shape? Let's try and match that shape. So I might come over here and like, all right, so it's going to be right there. Okay, so there it is right there. You see this? So that gives me a real good sense of how far out that spout is going to go. All right? So that's the horizontal, vertical, negative space. Okay, cartoon check. So let's just say, okay, this is a great, all right. So I've got the handle kind of going like this, and I've got this side of my watering can, right? Cartoon check would be, I would look, let's go to blue here. I would look at this area of the watering can and then quickly move my eye over to this area. And if I move my eyes back and forth real fast, I could see right away that my handle is sticking out too far. Almost like if you were to take a cartoon, let's see, like this here. Here's a little post-it note I made of this dog here. Here's another post-it note. These drawings are similar, but if this was a cartoon, you might like really quickly, you know, flip these two pages, you see? And then you would see your cartoon move. Well, in the drawing, as we quickly look back and forth between these two handles, we could quickly see that my handle is moving. Well, that means my handle's not right because I need to keep this in proportion. So that's the cartoon check, okay? Those four ideas. And we'll use those today as we draw. So let's get into that right now. How about that, right? Let me get rid of all that. And if you have any questions on any of that, please just give me a shout out, all right? All right, let's go ahead and begin. So let's start with a gesture, and when I gesture, I'm holding my pencil as far back as I can. I am just loosely jumping around, trying to, almost like you were ice skating. Your pencil tip was an ice skater across your paper. Oh, and before we go any further, don't draw your picture so big. Keep it small, like a 5x7. That's what we'll be able to accomplish in the next 45 minutes. If you make it gigantic, you might have a hard time keeping up. All right. So, gesture. All right. So, I'm just going to jump up here. Keep this light. All right. And I'm just kind of jumping around here, getting an idea. All right. That's my gesture. Very light, very loose, just getting some lines on the page, okay? Now we can sharpen that down just a bit in our next phase, which is construction. So let's start with a sphere for her head there, and I'm gonna okay, there's my sphere. That's a quick little sphere there. And what I'm doing now is I'm looking at her brow line. Her brow line goes right through her brow, and it comes down here to right over the top of her ear, okay? So let's put that in. So this is gonna kind of curve around here. I'm gonna lower this just a little bit there. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. And this drawing session is brought to you by Mandarin Orange seltzer water. Store brand, cheap. Okay, all right. So next thing I want to do is look for the they call this the mind's eye, or the center part right along here. Okay, so let's see here now. Someone's like, he doesn't take this serious. No, I do. All right. Right about there. You see that's about where the mind's eye is. Okay, so we're going to look for that right about, maybe about there. Okay? And then from here, I'm just going to drop a center line coming down. Look at this. Okay? That right there is what you might call the T of the face. And that's a really good that's an excellent place to start when you're drawing a face, to look for that T. Because from that, then we could start hanging things, you see? You want to get that T right. Okay, typically, in my case, it's I'm losing a lot of hair, but usually you look at the face if you break it down as thirds. This is one from the hairline, okay, to the eye line or the brow line. Sometimes we use these interchangeably. That's about a third. A third is to the bottom of the nose, and then a third is down to the chin. Okay, so on our model here, if I determine, okay, this is right about there, that's going to be the bottom of her nose. I will add another third. This will be about where her chin is going to go. Maybe, I think even maybe a little bit lower there. And then her hairline is going to be up here. So this just kind of follows this this curvature here. Andrea, if I go too fast, you just slow me down, okay? Or anyone else, if I go too fast, just give me a holler, all right? Okay, let's look at now her face is foreshortened. It's a 3/4 view. So anything that's further from us is kind of squished in, while the stuff that's to us is much more wider, all right? So let's work on the right side of her face here. So let's start right up here at the brow line. And you can see this has a slight indentation, all right? And then we have this nice little slope that's coming down. That's going to be for her cheek. And one thing you want to check for is look at that's about the peak of the cheek. You see that? And if I use a vertical line, this is the first time we're using that kind of goes through her nose. You see about where that's at? That's a vertical measurement. So that's, okay, I think mine looks pretty good right there, right? And then we're just going to come down here and finish that angle of her cheek coming down. Now let's jump to the far sides. Let's jump to the far side of her face. I want to show you a little trick that you might like, all right? This is called looking for the mask. Looking for the mask of the face, all right? So if you think of a superhero mask, all right? I'm going to erase all this for my demonstration here. If you think of a superhero mask, you might see it like this. You know, it might come up. It's going to come down. And it's going to wrap around the nose. That's always a great piece of real estate to look for when you're drawing the head. It really helps to, you know, bring everything together. So let's kind of draw that shape here. And so this would also be considered part of when I said using negative shapes. The mask of the face. Okay, so now check this out. I just noticed this. Now, if we were to put the nose in, let's get a quick measurement. Look at this negative. I'm going to cover this up here. Look at that. Look at that negative shape right there. You see how short that is? Now, look at mine. Mine is quite wide. So I'm going to have to cut this in just a bit here. You see? See, that is using a negative shape in order to get your proportion down right. All right, let's kind of place the bottom part of this nose. So I've used negative shape to kind of establish the angle of my nose. And now down here I'm just going to circle it in. And these little thirds, you don't have to be exact. These are just general measurements. So, it just kind of gives you an idea of where things are going. So we're going to curve this down for the bottom part of her nose. And when you're drawing the nose, I want you to think of it as mass, as if you were taking a piece of clay or Play-Doh and getting it to have some form, like a ball almost, all right? So if we come in here with the nose, now think of this as a ball. I'm going to erase this here. Think of this as a ball coming down. And then think of her wing as another little bit of clay. All right, so we're gonna come up here. Two pieces of clay that you've just put in place. Now another measurement, look at this. You could just check yourself here. Look at the tip of her nose, okay? Look at this distance. From the tip of her nose to the edge of the cheek. Picture that. And then look at the width of her nose. Now, how much? Are those similar? I think the width of her nose is a little bit wider than the distance to the side of her cheek there. So let's see how mine is measuring out. Okay, not bad. Not bad at all. I probably have to shave off just a little bit there. All right, let's move back up and work on her eyes just a little bit. Here's a vertical alignment I'm going to use. And this is pretty standard when it comes to drawing portraits. The outside part of the wing of the nose a lot of times will line up with the tear duct on the inside of the nose there, you see? So if we do a vertical, okay, look at that. That's a nice alignment there. So let's try and put that as a piece down here. All right, if I come up there, I'm going to put her tear duct maybe right about there. All right, tear duct's right there. Look at this over here. Look about the position where the corner of her eye there is, and that's going to be a little bit higher than that tear duct. You see that relationship? Also, I can double check the width of that eye and compare it to my nose. So let's see here. Let's see what we're looking at. I'm going to erase that for a minute. And I think her nose is a little bit wider than her eyes. So I think what I have there looks pretty good. Okay, let's jump to the other side here, okay? Let's look at this here. The tip of their nose now, if I drew a vertical, wow, that lines up with the outside part of her pupil. Okay, so we know that her pupil is going to be somewhere right in there. Here's a little trick for you. If you're going to do eyes, let's just say, let's come down here. And this is the gabella. That's the third eye right there, okay? So then your nose is going to come out like this. It might look something like this, like a almost like a man's tie. Wings on the other, each side of your nose like this. But this is what I want to show you on this idea here. Let's say that those are the corners of your eyes right there, okay? A lot of times if you run a diagonal up and then run a diagonal down, this will be the shape of your eyelid, of the outside part of the eyelid. That's a good way to get your eyelids to be symmetrical, all right? So let's use that. Let's use that idea here. So let's say that's the point right there. So we're gonna draw this lightly now. There's the top coming down like this. All right, here we go. Ready? When I draw my eyes, I'm 1, 2, 3. That's my eyelid up on top. All right, 1, 2, and 3. All right, and then the other one here. This is only going to have 2 because it's so foreshortened. The bottom part of your eye comes around, usually only has 2. 1, 2. Okay? Let's put that in. 1, 2. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm using the cartoon check. All right, cartoon check. I'm looking at this area of her head and comparing it to mine and just seeing if my eyes are too close together, which they might be just a slight. They're close, but I'm afraid my eyes might be too close together. So I can fix that just by, oops. All right, I think I'm going to like that better. Just a hair. Hey, Hanny, how are you doing? All right, let's get this pupil. Let's get the right pupil in here. And when I draw pupils, not only am I drawing pupils, but I'm really paying attention to the white of the eye in that shape. That negative shape there. What does that look like? So I want to make sure I model that. So let's see, I'm coming around here. Okay, and then the other one. And then I'm just going to drop a little tone in those. And that's going to give me a really good idea how close I am. How do you see, Alexander says, how do I see what you are drawing? Well, I'm not really sure, Alexander. I'm drawing right from the photograph that's being projected in front of you. If you do want to get a copy of this photograph, you can. It's in our Facebook group. So if you join our Facebook group, a link is in the description. You could go to that post, which is in the featured area. You can't miss it, and just download it. I don't know if I answered your question, but hopefully that helps a bit. Okay, I'm going to come in here now and erase this guide I put down here. And I'm going to put her eyelid in. Now, her eyelid, like if I was to draw a rainbow, you would draw the rings like this per se, but the eye is not like that. For example, let me show you. Let's just say the eye is more like this. Here's this rainbow shape, but then the eyelid might be close and then further apart. You see that? You don't want to make them mirror each other. So as I look at her eyelid here, the right one, this is like coming a little bit further out and then down. And this one comes out a little bit and then down. And this top line here, I'm going to just darken mine in because that's like her mascara. One other thing I just did was to add a little bit of just a slight tone to the whites of her eye, because I don't want those to be pure white. The other thing I'm going to do is take away this mask, because I don't really need it anymore. Okay, there's a real nice shadow under her eyes. So let's just kind of lightly put that in. And this side as well. And let's add a tone. Look at this tone here. We want her eyes to go back into her head here, so she has this tone back here. All right, let's drop down now and kind of work on the ball of the mouth. What's the ball of the mouth? Well, whenever you look at somebody, the ball of the mouth is your wrinkles. See when I smile? This whole area here is the ball of the mouth. It's the round part. It has a very round part, and it goes right below the nose, right behind the nose, the tip of the nose, and it goes right behind the ear. So let me show you that. So if we look at this girl here, that ball of the mouth is going to be right in here. You see this? That's what we're looking for. Draw this lightly, because if you're young, you don't see this as much as when you get older. All right, let's get the smile in place now. Now, this is a corner of her lips. You see that? Right about in there. Here's the other corner, and this is about the center right there, okay? So let's try and place that properly by using, look at this negative shape here. See that negative shape? Let's use that. Try and get that. Okay. And then the other side, you could also see that negative shape. That's okay. Let's draw the V of the lips. The V of the lips is this little place right here. Comes right down here, okay? Hers, that's pretty severe, but that's okay. And then once you have those 3 points, those are probably your most important parts of the lips you want to look for, because now it's really just kind of plain connect the dots. So I'm going to come up here. Here's her top lip. And then this one is just going to circle around. Okay, here's another example of using the cartoon check. I'm going to make this picture a little bit bigger here. Look at my lips. Look at my lips, and then quickly look at her lips. Wow, that is off. My goodness. Oh boy. All right. Well, you just got to keep on going, right? All right. So we're going to come up here like this. All right, we'll see how that turns out. All right, next part of the lips. You want to get this little underside right in here, okay? So let's put that in. Ooh. I got my eyes way too close together. I could see that happening already. She almost looks cross-eyed. So even I make mistakes, so it's okay. All right, there goes the lips. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of tone to them. All right, let's get the bottom now. Be careful of where you put this. It really comes up short. Look at that. It comes in right way over there. Yeah, my eye was, you remember earlier on when I was like doing the cartoon check and I said, I'm afraid my eyes are too close together. Well, it's obvious. It is obvious now. So I'm going to use a little bit of witchcraft here and fix that. There it is. There's a little witchcraft for you. All right, let's continue on here. Fill that in there and give it a little bit of a lick and a promise. And I think we'll be okay. It's still too close, but I'm going to leave this. All right, let's get this chin in now, right? So let's see here. We're coming in here. All right, that's not too bad. Now, next thing we want to look for is right here. Look at this. This is the corner. That's the corner of the jaw, and let's use a horizontal line for measurement. Okay, that lines up almost with the top of her lips there. Okay, then I also because this is, oops, stay still. This is the corner. I could almost like, all right, what's this? What's this relationship? Look at that. You see that? So let's see here. If I'm going to draw that, coming down like that. All right, so I think that's right about where my jaw's going to go. Try not to get frustrated. You know, this drawing portraits has got to be the hardest thing in the world, and it just takes a lot of time and a lot of practice. I know you don't want to hear that, but it really does. It just takes a lot of practice. And that's why we do this every Wednesday together. And maybe just over time, something will click and you will start to get it. All right? But just remember, it takes many, many, many hours. There is no secret formula for you to get great at this, except by sheer repetition and practice. Oh, that sounds so boring. All right, look at this now. Let's get this neck in place. Look at this. Look at that negative. Look at that negative shape right there. You see that? Let's try and get that. So let's see here. I'm going to come around like this. Looking for that negative shape. And then I could even come out here and look at, all right, what about this shoulder? How far out does this shoulder go? Okay, we're going to come way out about there. All right, if this is the corner of her jaw, look at this. Where is this back end of the neck? Look at that right there. You see that? There's the corner of her jaw. So let's see here. Corner of the jaw. Come on down here like this. And the back of her, when you draw someone's back of the neck, a lot of times it has a little bit of a curve. Reason why is because you're coming off the back, and the back has a slight curve to it. So you want to give that. I'm doing mine a little extreme, but you get the idea. All right, her ear's just peeking out just a little bit there. And one other thing we want to look for is this tendon. This tendon goes from the back of the head, right around the ear area, comes all the way up right into the pit of the neck. So if we just do something like this, we'll be in good shape. I'm going to start thinking about our hair here. So I'm going to make my... Oh, look at that. I've got to get a little organized here. Hold on. I'll make this a little bit smaller now. Okay, let's get our hair in. Let's start working on our hair here as we come around to the final 5 or 10 minutes. All right, so we've got this outside part here. All right, great. All right, what's about this hair here? Hair is coming all the way out here, and when you draw the hair, I want you to think of not as individual hairs, but a mass. Almost like you were rolling out a big thing of clay and you stuck it on that person. Almost like a sculptor, all right, was adding clay to create the hair. And that's really how I want you to think of it here. What happened here? Something doesn't look right. Oh, I know. Hold on. I got to go back because when I put these things together, just give it a second. There it is. Okay, now it got out of proportion. So give me a second. There you go. Okay, round 2. Let's get this hair in place. All right, so I'm thinking of this as clay that I'm putting right on top of her head here. And right at this point, I'm just I'm gesturing. I'm gesturing this. Like I'm looking at this negative, look at that shape right there. How close I am to the eye, to her hair. You see that? Okay, so now if I was to think of this hair as, again, rolls of clay, right? Well, how would this look? Let's see. So I might circle around like this. Then you're going to have another piece maybe circles around like this. And then this turns the corner here and goes under her head to the back side, you see? Just thinking of mass. That's the key with hair. You're a sculptor. All right, she has these, like, I don't know what these are, like little pieces of wheat. Where is your class schedule posted? And I saw that you have some fee-based classes, private classes also. Yes, Alexander. I will, Alexander, if you go into our Facebook group, or if you go into our Facebook group, just send me a direct message or email me at kurtaspland.com and I'll send you a link, okay? So here I'm going to add a general tone to her whole hair here. Just one basic tone. And let's add some tone to her face as well. So keep it really loose, all right? Look closely at the picture. All right, then she also has some tone under her neck there. You see this? And I'm gonna move these items out of the way here. Yeah, leave me a... Alexander, if you're part of our Facebook group, just go in there and DM me and I'll take care of you, okay? Okay, so let's get her her clothing here in her blouse or whatever she's wearing. So I'm just gonna kind of come up here so I kind of follow it. Now, look at this line. This is almost a vertical. You see this? And straight up and down, where is it? Oh, look at that. That's brilliant. That lines up with the outside part of her eye. Okay, that's going to be very helpful for me. That lines up with the outside part of her eye. Okay, so let's get her shoulder in here now. And then this is going to come around here and go beyond her her neck back here just a bit. And then down here, I'm just going to kind of like fan some of these folds out. All right, last little bit. Let's jump back in and add a little more detail while we still have a couple minutes here, okay? All right, eyebrows. I'm going to go in here and add some surface lines for her hair, kind of. So the rest of the hair, what you would end up doing is look for value changes. Look how this changes in value underneath here. When you're drawing hair, it's usually good to use S curves, C curves, and straights. All right. But you're always thinking of not individual hairs, you're thinking of mass. All right, let's kind of bring this down here. Now, I'm not sure what yours looks like, so all I could do really is start adjusting mine. And that's about it. That's all what we got today. So I would just keep encouraging you to tune in each week. Keep trying. Keep coming in here. And I'll do my best to help you along, okay? Hey, thanks for watching, everyone, today. Kevin, thanks for tuning in. Glad that you popped in there. Andrea, Hanny, and Alexander. My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws, and we will see you guys later. Have a great rest of your afternoon, okay? All right. Bye-bye.